Lesson 4 in Module 4 deals with living in a global economy. Today, fast, easy global connections have made cultural exchange, trade, and cooperative world community possible. We see this every day. Think about it. How do you think globalization has linked the world's countries together through culture and trade? Let's explore this topic. Globalization is the process in which countries are increasingly linked to each other through culture and trade. We send email messages that can reach destinations on the other side of the globe. Bands post videos of songs files on the internet and make them popular in far-off destinations. And we get news out of Iran as it's happening. All of these things are globalization, and it has really changed our Earth. What has caused this new globalization? The main cause of the new globalization has been improvements in communication and transportation. They've brought the world closer together. As a result, global culture and trade have increased significantly. What are some things that you might have in common with a teenager in Brazil? Well, you probably use similar technology. You may wear similar clothing and watch the same movies. You may even listen to the same music. If so, you would share the same global popular culture. Popular culture refers to the cultural traits that are well known and widely accepted by general populations. Food, music, sports, and movies are all examples of popular cultures. The United States has an enormous influence over global popular culture. American soft drinks are sold in every country of the world. Many popular American television shows broadcast internationally. English has become a global language with over 25% of the world's population speaking English. It has also become the language of international music, business, science, and education. At the same time, the United States is influenced by the global culture. Martial arts movies made in Asia attract large audiences in the United States. Radio stations play music by African, Latin American, and European musicians. We have even adopted many foreign words like sushi and plaza into the English language. Globalization has made an impact on trade. Societies have traded with each other for centuries, but global trade today takes place at a much faster rate. Cargo ships are larger and faster than ever. Airplanes can move goods at record speeds. Telecommunications, computers, and the internet have made globalized trade quick and easy. For example, a shoe retailer in Chicago can order a pair of shoes she needs on a website from a company located in China. The order can be flown to Chicago the next day and sold to customers that afternoon. The expansion of global trade has increased interdependence among the world's countries. We learned about interdependence in an earlier lesson. It is when countries rely on other countries for resources, goods, or services. Sometimes companies in one country rely on goods and services from a company in another country. Consumers also rely on goods produced somewhere else. For example, American shoppers buy bananas from Ecuador, tomatoes from Mexico, and chocolate from South America. Global trade gives them access to goods from all over the world. Sometimes companies operate in a number of different countries. These type of companies are called multinational companies. For example, Apple, Nike, Adidas, and Toyota all sell products and services they offer to places all over the world. They have plants, offices, and stores in many countries and on many continents. To keep their costs down and profits up, companies build their manufacturing plants in places where raw material or labor is the cheapest. They may produce different parts for their products on different continents. They ship the parts to one location in order to be assembled. Corporations find if they locate part of their business in the country, its local residents are more likely to buy its products and services. Developing nations want multinational companies to invest in their countries because they create jobs. Sometimes those countries will offer their companies tax incentives in order to move their factories to their country. Multinational companies create jobs and expand the country's economy. With this new money, the country can improve their infrastructure and better meet the needs of its citizens. Developed nations sometimes provide aid to developing nations through international organizations. The World Bank provides loans for large projects in countries that need them and might not otherwise have the money to complete them. Sometimes these monies are used to pay for healthcare, education projects, or for roads and bridges. Sometimes they're used for electricity power plants or even internet access. Another organization is called the International Monetary Fund. The IMF offers emergency loans to countries in financial trouble. They can help countries keep a stable banking system so that the people continue to buy and sell goods and services. These organizations play an important role, but they also have weaknesses. Sometimes the World Bank will fund projects that may not actually help the people of a country. The IMF sets harsh conditions for countries to receive loans. Developed countries want to help developing countries because they see them as a source for raw materials. Sometimes governments pass laws to try to protect their country's jobs and industries. These laws create a trade barrier that limits free trade between nations. One type of trade barrier is quotas. These are a limit to the amount of lower priced products their country can import. A second trade barrier is a tariff or a tax that's placed on imported goods. This helps protect the price of goods in the country, also known as domestic goods. A third type of trade barrier is called an embargo. This is a law that cuts off most or all trade between a specific country. It's often used for political purposes. Since the early 1960s, the United States has had a trade embargo with the country of Cuba. In 2016, President Barack Obama began an effort to ease relationships with Cuba. In 2017, President Trump reversed those policies and created new restrictions on traveling or doing business in that country. There are many reasons for trade barriers. Many countries look for ways to make trade easier between countries. Some countries encourage free trade with their trade partners. Free trade removes any trade barriers between nations. Since 1995, the World Trade Organization has worked with nations to help trade among nations flow as smoothly and freely as possible. There are 164 member nations in the World Trade Organization.